What's up, everyone? College football tips, and welcome back to another breakdown of the past weekend. This past weekend was Week 10, so November 1st through November 7th games. It was a pretty interesting slate of games here. A lot of stuff happened. Kind of a couple really interesting games I really want to break down, but for the most part, it was a pretty bizarre weekend. So without any introduction, let's get into it. Alright, so it's a little confusing because this is kind of the week where the AP had a completely different set and ESPN a different one, and now it's going to switch more into the normal one, so I'm just going to kind of go off of the college football one here on ESPN just because they had it as that. So number 25 here, we will just got to find it, which is UCF and Memphis. Kind of expected this. UCF is kind of a good team right now. They're 7-2. They played pretty well that game. Memphis just didn't do a good job of kind of getting back into it. Memphis' quarterback though played pretty well. Nice win for UCF. UCF is doing some things here, man. UCF they're gonna be in a nice little bowl here by the end of the season. So good win on UCF before they kind of shift over into I believe the Big 12. So that'll be interesting once they finally get into a power conference. Moving on to number 24. This game, oof. See, I didn't have power while watching this game, but I still watched it, and it felt all so terrible the second half. The first half, I mean, you can even see here, guys, 14-17. I was like, all right, let's effing go, man. Bijan, freaking 209 yards, 1 TD, dude. His passing was like 58 yards. We had an insane run game this first half. Passing looked great. Defense looked dominant, dude. It looked like a blowout. And then the second half comes up, and nothing in the third quarter, nothing in the fourth quarter, and then 3 points. And then they were almost kind of on their way back. Freaking, we win it with a late fumble. I mean, the score was 37-27, but the fact that we let them come back in the game pissed me off. They shouldn't have been able to come back that easily. We are not a second half team, and it showed very well here. But I was still surprised by the win. It was in Manhattan. It was K-State. They were 13. They destroyed Oklahoma State. We barely lost Oklahoma State, but that was in a windy game. Certain situations, kind of really. So I mean, yeah, I'm extremely happy that we won, but still, it was a very close win there, which, oh my God, it shouldn't have been that close. But we won there. 20 out of Texas won. So moving on to their next game, which is TCU, which is college game day. So that'll be very interesting. 23, I believe, is up here, which is Oregon State. They lost to Washington. I'm not surprised here. Washington's still a pretty good team. They're 7-2, for a reason. They only lost to I want to say USC and Washington State, right? If I'm not too wrong here, we can look at their history. Yeah, no, UCLA and Arizona State. They've beaten everybody else. But they do got to play USC soon, don't they? They have a USC on their schedule. No, they don't. Okay. I do know that they have Oregon. Okay, that will be an interesting one for Washington. But they took the dub here. Penix played great. 298 yards, 30-52. Their quarterback did not do that well. 87 yards, 107 rushing yards for them. So they had a good run game, but Washington comes up clutch here with the 10 points in the fourth quarter. So good on Washington, good on Penix. I'll always like that, seeing that guy do well. Number 22/21, because we have both of them here, was NC State and Wake Forest. What happened. NC State's defense, came up clutch. I really was thoroughly impressed by the defense. In the second half for NC State, they did some great, had a great third quarter, had a great fourth quarter. Hartman, though, man, Hartman is insane. Dude, this guy threw 397 yards. Like, what on earth is that? 397. Gosh, man, it's insane numbers. 397, 2 TDs, 3 picks, though, which is a big problem, and this is why I said if their defense steps up, NC State's going to get the dub there, which they did. So not too crazy, but good win for NC State. ACC's kind of a nice getting a little competitive here, which I like. I like when all conferences are competitive, but that was a good one. So moving on to number 20. I think this wasn't on here because they may have had a bye, if I'm not wrong. I will look through it. No, it was Syracuse. Okay, so Syracuse and Pitt. This shocked me a little bit. Syracuse has not been the same since they played Clemson at all. I think they've been on a 3-game losing streak. They lost to Clemson, Pitt, and I'm not sure to who else. Sorry, it's pretty late. Notre Dame, that's right. Clemson, Notre Dame, and Pitt. That was a very interesting. They've been on a very bad slate. They've just been losing. You know, they were winning for a while, but now losing. Not a good look on Syracuse. So Syracuse gets the L here. Only 9 points, dude. 3 field goals, which is terrible. Pitt played great. Slavis played great. 1 pick though. But the run game is really where it was dominant for Pitt. I mean, as you can see here, 124, a TD. So good win on Pitt, and man, it's just really looking bad on Syracuse. Tulane absolutely destroyed Tulsa here. You know, their run game was fantastic. As you can see, 157, 1 TD, 14 carries. So not a lot of carries, but great rushing on it. So good on Tulane, man. They're 8-1, 5-0 in the American Conference. Tulsa's just not that good. So Tulsa took them fat L, which is a little bit not surprising because Tulane's been a pretty damn good team. So good on Tulane on that one. This next one, number 18, surprised me very much so. Oklahoma State got obliterated by Kansas. I believe Sanders was out this game, so that's a big reason why. Not too sure what happened with him. I think he got hurt a little bit ago. I kind of want to hear what happened. Or did he get benched? I don't know what happened. I do know that they put in Gavin Parker. So Gavin Parker played. Maybe he got benched. I don't know. Either way, Oklahoma State played terrible this game. They have been on a pretty bad streak after beating Texas. They've lost 2 or 3 in a row. I mean, they got 2 in a row. Got just slapped by Kansas State and just lost to Kansas. 3 picks, 2 TDs for the quarterback. But Bean really excelled here, as you can see. 2 TDs, 203 yards. But the rushing game, oh my God, 224 and 32 carries, man. Their run game was insane. Kansas is looking like a pretty solid team, so good on Kansas on getting that one. They should be up there in terms of, you know, semi to almost ranked team. So I'm liking what Kansas is doing right now. Number 17, North Carolina and Virginia. North Carolina looked like they had it. Or not really looked like they had it. It looked like they had like a little ups and downs, but for the most part, it looked pretty consistent in that third quarter. You can see here, 14 points. North Carolina, man, they're 8-1. And they're only 17, which is a little surprising to me because they're number 1 in the other side of the ACC, and then Clemson is still number 1 on the one side. So that could be a really interesting matchup when they get to the ACC championship. So I'm kind of interested in the North Carolina here being 8-1. I love Mac Brown as coach. So man, I can't root against that guy after what he did at Texas. But May played great. The run game was good. The receiving was great for Downs there. 166, man, that's crazy. So good win on them there. Oh, you know what? I just realized something, guys. 25, 22, 21, 28, 19, 18. It's going up, except for this one. Because that was Friday. Okay. Number 16, Illinois and Michigan State. And man, I'm so happy for MSU. Everything looked like trash. 8 players suspended. Everything was looking bad. It was an away game in Illinois, who was 7-1. It was looking bad. And then Michigan State pulled it off. 23-15 win. Thorne played great. Jaden Reed played great. The defense was pretty good there for the second and third quarter, which I was really happy for. Like I said, I really liked it. I was kind of happy that Michigan State won that game, and hopefully we can be bowl eligible by the end of the season. Because, like I said, I go to Michigan State, so I'm like a little bit favoritism towards them. But it was a good win for them. They kind of needed that morality-wise. So good win for MSU. Moving on to number 15, Penn State just slapped Indiana. They looked like they were pissed after that Ohio State game, so I could see why they wanted to play hard. So they destroyed Indiana here. Indiana was 1-5. Clifford threw for a ton. They had good rushing, good receiving. Everything was great on Penn State wise. I mean, look, you see 7-17, 7-14. So good win for Penn State there. Utah, another one, same thing, just crushed Arizona. Arizona's 1-5, they're 5-1 now. 14, 3, 14, man, they played fantastic. Utah's looking like a real, actual, dude, they might take down Oregon. I don't know, though. I don't even know if they played Oregon yet, but it'll be interesting to see how the Pac-12 finishes there. So I'm very, very interested on that. Kansas State and Texas we just talked about. UCLA actually looked semi good there for the remainder of the game, but that first quarter, I mean, it's kind of getting close. I mean, most fourth quarters kind of happened like that, but then they really pulled in there, 14-14, 14-8. I mean, come on, that's a nice kind of go there. DTR played fantastic. Their receiving game was great. Surprisingly, as you can see here, Arizona State's quarterback did pretty damn well too. 349, 2 TDs, but it just wasn't enough because Arizona State, man, they're just oof. For Arizona State, they just don't have have it in them right now, just because what everything that's going on with their coaching and everything. So poor Arizona State, but good win for UCLA. I'm gonna jump up here just because they're number 10, but LSU, my God, that OT win was insane. I think Mason Taylor's his name. He got a touchdown to kind of get it close, and then to OT, to allow it to go to OT. No, to get the. Yeah, they had it up, and then I think Bama scored, and then it went to OT, and then LSU went for 2, which was nuts. Mason Taylor, man, that freshman, he's gonna be great when he's a sophomore or junior, potentially senior there at LSU. But man, they talk about a freaking flip around of a season. It started off looking gross and bad for them, and then it's looking a little good here. Beating Bama, beating Ole Miss. LSU's looking a little scary, I'm not gonna lie. So good win on LSU there. And Bama, man, I'm telling you, Bama may have some problems here within the future. Their program isn't looking too tight at the moment. That's what I'm talking about. It's Bama. They're gonna be good, but man, when he's gone, this man, good old Bryce Young is gone, man. I don't know what's gonna happen. We'll see though. So good win on LSU. USC and Cal, this is way closer. And that's just kind of how all their games has been. USC just hasn't looked like insane, like Georgia or something. I mean, numbers-wise, stat-wise, on paper, USC should be a complete powerhouse of a program this year. But it's all that transfers, all that stuff. There's going to be some holes to fill. You can't flip a program in 1 year and expect to be a national championship contender. Bama had to build on what they've done to be where they're at. Clemson had to build on what they were to be where they were. Georgia had to build on what they were. I mean, all that stuff's had to build. So, USC, it was a close game, but they still pulled it out. Great win for the Trojans. They moved 8-1, and they're pretty steadily there up top of the Pac-12 with Oregon. So we'll see how that is. But speaking of Oregon, another blowout win. Dude, Oregon looks insane. After Bo Nix, and after that first game, man, he settled in good into the Oregon quarterback spot. Man, they just gone off. 14, and 7. Man, that's insane. Colorado's, I mean, they're a bad team right now, unfortunately. But Oregon, man, 6-0 in the Pac-12, looking solid up there. So good win on Oregon as always. Moving on to the next one here, TCU. At first, I thought TCU may lose this game. I still don't think TCU is an insane team. It's rankings-wise, that's why I'm like, but they are undefeated, so you got to give them some credit for that. But, man, they didn't look too confident in this game. In that fourth quarter, they scored a lot of points, so I was like, okay, maybe. That punt return was really nice, as you can see here, the punt return. Duggan still playing well, still playing great, rushing a lot. Their run game in general was great. So TCU has a good run game, so that's why they beat Texas Tech. But still, I don't know about TCU, man. We'll see this week, but I don't know. Talked about Bama, LSU, Michigan slapped Rutgers. At first, it did not look like it though. It was so close, and I was like, oh my God. And then that third quarter, man, 28 points. That was insane. That second half was nuts. Rutgers looked like Rutgers. Michigan State looked really good. Corum played great. Edwards played great. They both had over 100 yards. It was a very good game for Michigan. Moving on up here. Clemson, Notre Dame, man. Notre Dame, talk about turning around your season as well. Just like LSU, man. They're in the same boat. Notre Dame should be ranked after this too. But they flipped their season from trash to something looking nice out of it. You know, beating Clemson pretty softly and pretty dominantly. And then Uiagalelei, man, I said at the beginning of the season, he doesn't look that good. They should start the other guy, Klubnik. They didn't. He was doing well, and I was like, okay, maybe I should bite my words on that. But I still think they should start my boy Klubnik. I'm going back on it now. I'm going back on that train. Klubnik just seems like the bet here. Uiagalelei just doesn't seem like he's the guy. And you know what? I feel like he may be threatened to transfer next season. I really do. You know, if Klubnik really progresses this offseason, he could potentially get the starting spot, and you could see DJ kind of maybe transfer to somewhere else. Where, though? It could be interesting, because there's a lot of places where he could go. One place is if he does end up transferring, if he does feel threatened by Klubnik and the pressure of Klubnik, because if Clemson loses another game, I mean, I think they could start Klubnik. I really do. And one place I don't even know. Uiagalelei could go anywhere, but I just think Klubnik's a little bit better. But good win on Notre Dame. Ohio State, you know, at first I was like, oh my god, and then Northwestern just didn't score. It was an ugly win, but they still beat Northwestern, so it doesn't really matter. You know, at first I was like, no, and then Northwestern just didn't do it. But Ohio State doing Ohio State stuff. They won. It doesn't matter, you know. They still won 21-7, you know, and they're going to keep winning, and we'll see how they play against Michigan. That'll be a fun game. I can't wait for that, November 26th. And then we get to the big boy of games. Whew, all right. Tennessee and Georgia. Tennessee looked terrible this game. All the hype, I was on Tennessee hype, man. I'm not going to lie. I was like, Tennessee's going to slap Georgia. It's going to hand Georgia a loss. Nah, dude, Georgia showed why they won the national championship last year, and it shows, man. That defense played fantastic. Stenson should be higher on boards. He's a lot better of a quarterback, but people are saying he's a college quarterback, which I disagree. I think Stenson's one of those good guys. He's kind of like Mac Jones. You know, he's great in college, and I think he should get drafted pretty high, which, you know, if he doesn't, then it's going to kind of be a steal to be a solid quarterback in any system he plays in, and I think Stenson could be great. I mean, he hung up the phone on Tennessee here, as you can see, after his phone number got leaked. But one interesting game, man. That was a nuts one. Anyway, we're gonna go to the Week 11 rankings here, as you can see. Should be a pretty fun week this week. Only one really interesting game, and that's, you guys know which game that is, and I'm pretty damn excited for it. But we'll go through it. Florida State actually moving up in the rankings. Washington moving up. K-State dropped 10, man. They dropped 10 to 23. UCF went up 3. Illinois dropped 7 after they lost to MSU. Notre Dame stayed the same. Or no, not stayed the same. They actually got ranked at 20, which, there you go. Liberty went up 4. We went up like 4 or 5. On this one, it says we weren't ranked, but we did go up. NC State went up 4, Tulane went up 3, North Carolina up 2, Penn State up 2, Utah down 1, which surprising. Clemson down 7. Ole Miss actually didn't play, so they stayed somewhat the same. Bama down 4, UCLA up 1, USC up 1, LSU up 8. Jesus, on this one. Oregon up 2, Tennessee down 3, TCU up 3, Michigan up 1. I still think we'll see November 26th. That would really get settled for that. And then Georgia up 1, and then College Game Day, Texas, and TCU, baby. Let's go. All right. I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.